Alrighty, so I am Beth, otherwise known as Bugsy the Knitter, and I am working on an actual podcast episode, but I have been behind with everything else that's been going on. Tomorrow's Tempe, nope, it's not, it's a Flag Wool and Fiber Festival, and this is what I was planning on wearing to it. Clearly, it's not done yet. So while the house is quiet, I thought I'd just do 10 minutes of knitting and nattering by myself. So I bought this wool last year at Flag Wool and Fiber Festival, and I thought it'd be really cool to have something that I would wear to it that I bought from there previously, but alas, this week did not work out the way that I planned to. So I will not be doing that, but I do have another cool project that I began December 30th of last year that I'll be wearing to the festival, and I'm super excited to wear that. I'm hoping it's a bit cooler than what it is here in Chandler, Arizona, because it's a vesty cardigan-y sleeveless thing. It's 105 today. And I haven't looked to see what the temperature is yet for tomorrow, but I'm hoping for 70s. That would be lovely. Today we went to Sonson's Pasty in Gilbert, Arizona, and they are a family-owned business, and they make English pasties. And when I was there, the guy was super lovely. He heated up one of the sausage rolls, and me and my daughter sat there and ate it together. And it was really yummy, and he had some experimental flavors. They weren't quite as big as the full-size ones, but apparently they've been to a culinary festival in Las Vegas last week, and so they had a bunch of different flavors that I haven't had there before. But yeah, so we went there, had a sausage roll for lunch, and then got some for the road trip tomorrow. It's about a 2-hour drive with good traffic. No, that's a lie, that's Sedona. So probably about a 3-hour drive in good traffic. But it's hot here, and the weekend, so hopefully people will be, I don't know, we'll probably be heading up just fine, but when we come back down, there'll probably be a lot of traffic. It's fine. So anyways, got some pasties that are par baked, and I'm going to finish baking them in a bit after dark because they're air conditioning. But then we will take those up there, and that will be our lunch. I'm planning on making some muffins, and that'll be our breakfast in the car. So yeah, it's going to be super fun, I think, to go up there. It's my second year in a row. Last year was my first year going, and I'd always wanted to purl together through the back loops. I've always wanted to go to it, and this is now my 10th year living in Arizona. And yeah, so last year I finally went after living here for 9 years. So knit 2, slip, knit. Train of thought. So I'm excited to try and make it a traditional thing. It's the weekend before my birthday. Last year I turned 40, and I went a bit mad with how much I allocated in my yarn budget. Honestly, I haven't made too many things out of the yarn that I bought yet, but everything has a plan. So I got some really beautiful yarn by Super Glow Fiber, and I have a really fun jumper sweater that I'm going to make out of that. And then I got some stuff by, what's her name? Merino Vino. So yeah, I got some lovely yarn from her, and I figured out that I'm going to make a Jessie Made Designs pattern from that. And then yeah, so I got a couple other balls of yarn, and I got some beautiful roving I have not done anything with the roping, and it is kind of like burning a hole in the fiber stash. And I have a side gig coming up during the month of June to July, and I think with that I don't think with that, I know with that I am planning on buying myself a spinning wheel, since it was unplanned money, which may not be the most mature decision, but I'm planning on getting that, and I'm thinking about getting either a Kiwi or an Ashford, Ashford, I don't know, Ashford, Ford, anyway. But so I want to get that. I'd like to get a travel one for the space. And back when I lived in Chicago, I did own a spinning wheel for a while. I don't remember where we went, but it was like an hour drive, and then I got it, and it was a very old school one. I never, that's great. I never did get around to actually using it. I tried to figure out, there's something about like the leader that I couldn't get sussed out. And so eventually I ended up trading it to my high school lunch lady, because I kept in touch with her, can't you talk? And traded it for a whole bunch of her own alpaca wool that she had sheared from her sheep and had processed, not her sheep, her alpacas. But so I did that, and a bread maker. So she got the spinning wheel, I got a bread machine, and a whole bunch of alpaca yarn, which I also haven't knitted yet, and I've had that since 2013, but most of the stuff hasn't been in my stash quite that long. But that's an exception. It's one of those things that it's so I need to do a decrease row here too. It's so beautiful that I don't want to knit the wrong thing out of it. I think one thing that I did do was kind of like a little tester square. I kind of made with knitting and purling to get the kind of, not shadow knitting, but kind of like the washcloths that they have on Ravelry. But so it was a kind of like a square little alpaca washcloth looking thing. But that's the only thing I've done with that. And I think I have like 4 or 5 big balls of yarn. I'd have to say they'd have at least 150 to 200 meters in each one based on how big they are. It's between an Aran and a chunky weight yarn. I figure eventually it will be a blanket. That's what I should do. I should actually go through my Simply Knittings and pick out some of those different squares that they have over the years and just go ahead and make myself a blanket. But I don't know, the thought of also making jumpers for everybody is nice, but my son is going to be a tall human, so I don't want to misjudge or waste. So these are knitting problems. There's that fear of using the wool for the wrong project. I think a lot of us have that challenge. And I had that with this because it's so beautiful. This is Apothecary knits. I started following them on Instagram, but they don't have much of, I don't think they've posted since 2023 or something. But they have an Etsy shop, and all of their stuff is lovely, and they are who I got the big braid from last year that I can't wait to use. Not gonna be aware of how many times I say but I think I'm going to drop spindle that during Tour de Fleece / Tour de France. And I'm thinking about looking up when the Tour of Britain, the women's version is. It looks like they changed their name this year after not having it last year. I don't know, they share the same Instagram page, but I think it might change. But I'm thinking of trying to spin during those, but since the GCN network closed down, Global Cycling Network, and the app, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be able to watch the races that I want to. Not like I can sit down and watch the whole thing each day, but I would like to try and continue to follow women's cycling. So, yes, these are fun things that I'm up to. I love this wool. It's so pretty. Years and years and years and years ago, I got some Madeline Tosh. It was purple. Almost forgot to do the decrease. And I made a Girl in the World sweater, and I love it. It's probably the thing that I've worn the most. I want to make another one, but I want to make another one at some point. I've got a mustard yellow that I'm going to do that with. Is it pearls 2 to the back? Oh shit, pearl 2. Pearl 2. I've got a couple more decrease rows. So, yeah, so I thought about using this to make a girl in the world sweater, but I also modified it and made the sleeves about 3/4 length. I don't really like long sleeves unless it's a bulky sweater, in which case it's going to be used as an outside garment and not a layering piece. But so I saw this though on my Pinterest page against the Fantasia blouse, and I was like, ooh, that looks lovely. It's kind of got like some rose golden hair, some brownish burgundy tints, some cream, some grays. I love this color. I'm a little worried that against my skin it might look a little bit too samey. I tan strange in Arizona and I try not to tan at all. But, yeah, so there's this. Apparently I will decrease 6 stitches on each side. There's an option between puffy sleeves and flat sleeves for this, and I think I don't know, I'm torn between puffy and flat. I feel like I might look a bit ridiculous with puffy sleeves, but I'm also tempted to try it. And it's exciting because I got the reference somewhere but the band, but this is getting really good yardage. So I could experiment with the sleeves a little bit, but then I know I'm also going to have some left over after. And then it's such a pretty yarn, it'll probably be something that I keep in my stash for years and years and years, because I won't want to accidentally waste it. But I tried really hard to not worry about wasting yarn. I did get a jumper made at the beginning of last year, so that was 2023. It's crazy how time goes by. So my son was out of the country visiting his other side of the family, and so I had a project and I was trying to get it done. I didn't get the project done, but I got another project done. And so I'm going to, so I got this beautiful stripy sweater. Oh, it's not beautiful, it's pretty pragmatic, but I liked it. Get two together. And, I messed up the decrease on the row below. I did a slip knit instead of a knit two together. Nope, it was a slip purl that I should have done. But so, I was still breastfeeding, but so I was living in a slightly larger body than what I am now, and my proportions were a bit different. I tried it on the other day, even though it's like a Aran weight, fixed it. And the shoulders just look ridiculous now. There's one that I kind of modified and made my own. So now I'm thinking about ripping it back and fixing the shoulders. I made kind of a boat neck, and again, like the shoulders just look very shoulder patty. And I don't really love that. So yeah, I don't know how many decrease rows I've done now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got one of each left. And yeah, it's got, after I get these decreasing, I'll have a few more rows to do, and then I stop and try on my garment. And so already looking at it, it's like, it's gonna be a bit short. You can add rows. This pattern and other patterns that I've been doing recently call for German short rows, which for some reason they intimidate me, and I have to look at a diagram every time that I do it because my brain is just like, nope, I'm not retaining that information for next time. So this also calls for German short rows. It's interesting because they're really efficient, and I like the finish on them. I just wish I could remember between step 1 and step 2, or row 1 and row 2, how to do it so I don't have to keep clicking back on my phone. And I'm using my phone to record this, so I can't click back. So when I get done with these 2 rows, I'll probably be done knitting and nattering by myself. My fun party trick is back in college, I could knit with my toes if they were at least 5mm knitting needles. And obviously like an Aran weight yarn would be preferable, but not so much. I'm knitting continental, or I'm knitting the knit stitches continental, and I haven't figured out yet, I'm sure a quick Google search would tell me how to purl more efficiently, so I'm definitely throwing. I watched a video once on like Scottish pit knitters, and that was so interesting to watch. And so even though obviously in England it's typically, or at least it used to be colder, anywhere's colder than Arizona, but it used to be colder, I still like, when I lived in England, it was definitely more humid consistently than what it is in America, because Arizona is very dry. I think the humidity today is 11%. But who checks the weather app every day? It's me. I do. Alright, purl 2 through back loops. I don't know why I'm not keep splitting the second stitch on the back loop. There we go. Purl 2. But so, anyways, pit knitting is interesting because I'm like, sounds good in concept. Like I get the fact that obviously not with circular needles, but I could definitely understand and get behind that, especially with some of the longer needles I have. But I'm like, how much would you sweat while pit knitting? So I'm a sweaty lady. Not that the whole internet or the 20 people who watch this will need to know that about me, but yeah. I just couldn't imagine that kind of, I would sweat. Especially if you're wearing a wool sweater at the same time that you are pit knitting a sweater. That's like a lot of friction and a lot of heat. So, well, I think I've ran out of things to say. I'm going to keep working on this for a bit. My son's on his way home. And yes. I will post more pictures / videos when this is done. I'm working on 2 podcasts right now. One is about my trip to New Orleans and the lovely yarn stores that I went to, nice people that I met, and incredible food. And then the other one is just general podcasting, acquisitions, whips, plans. I'm thinking about doing a summer planning video. I've got a number of things I want to get done. Not get done, but there's some cute additions I want to make to my wardrobe. I'm always looking to try and make more of my own clothes, but I've also been working on culling some things, figuring out the season of life that I'm in, how I want to dress. Sometimes I include ripping out completed projects so I can reuse the yarn again. Since I have a little girl, some of the things that I made that were accidentally too small, I'm like, should I just hold on to it for her because eventually it'll fit? But then it's also like, well, she doesn't want it, and I've just held on to it for all these years. So yeah, there we go. There it is. Just got my rows of straight knitting again. And then I'll start working on the neckline. That's the back. Oh, I guess it might grow, and it says it'll grow when you block it, so. And I have like, it goes hip bone, it's like 1/2 inch, and then rib cage, so this might not actually be as cropped as I worry about. I often overestimate my size, so I'm standing up with a pair of proper jeans, not low-rise millennial jeans like I used to wear. It should look lovely. So thank you, and please come back and watch and do the whole like and subscribe thing, because yeah, I'm trying to share more about my crafts and things like that I enjoy. I know not everybody's cup of tea, but if I am yours, please like and subscribe, and then you'll get to hear all about my New Orleans adventures. Definitely talk about what Fiber Festival, the flag wool and fiber looks like tomorrow, how yummy our pasties are, and other knitting and craft related things. Thanks!